Norman Bates in the that goes back to 1960. The first Psycho, then there was a Psycho 2, now there's a Psycho 3, and he also appears and directs, and it opens July the 2nd. Would you welcome Anthony Perkins? Before you come over and sit down, something we want to get out of our system. Would you step over here for a second? Couldn't resist it.
No one told me about that.
I know that.
No.
I suppose, do most people come up to you and talk about that particular scene of all the things you've done? It's funny how something in people's memories locks in forever.
Yeah, it's true. They talk about the two Psycho films, there's no question about it. But when they see me, when they spot me in a hotel lobby or an elevator, they usually come towards me rather than say, oh, there's Norman Bates. They usually say, oh, let's tell him our Psycho stories about when, our parents went to see it and she jumped into his arms and they were married next week and we're the kids that resulted from the evening, that kind of thing. Everyone has a story that has some kind of an affectionate ending to it.
You've been asked this many times, if I'm fascinated. That was Hitchcock, of course. That scene, if you watch it over and over again, has been called probably one of the greatest pieces of... It only lasted, what, a minute or 45 seconds?
Depending on where you see it. On the television, obviously, it's edited just a little bit.
Right. But it was made up of how many different individual cuts?
At least 30 or 40.
Yeah. Little things and...
I wasn't there for that.
Really?
No, so the scene scares me, too. I was in New York rehearsing a play.
Right.
And Hitchcock said, go ahead, we wouldn't be using you for this anyway. I want to use a silhouette that's not quite like yours. So go ahead and rehearse the show.
So you never saw him do that scene at all?
No.
And the first time you actually saw it, I guess, was when the picture was...
Yes, exactly.
So it does not seem possible. That was 26 years ago.
Over a generation, well over a generation. People have grown up with the Psycho idea.
Then Psycho 2,
yeah. Now
Psycho 3. How many people has Norman done away with?
Well, to answer that a little bit differently, in Psycho 2, he didn't kill anyone until driven to it at the end of the picture by... No, the crimes in Psycho 2 were committed by the Vera Miles character and her daughter, who were definitely out to drive Norman crazier than he already was. But at the end, he was so infuriated that an old lady showed up who claimed to be his real mother. And she had also done some of the killings. And he felt that she was responsible for the girl that he had begun to fall in love with, and he gave her the shovel in the back of the head, for those who remembered seeing that picture.
The old attention getter. Yeah. The old shovel attention getter. That'll do it.
This left her on the kitchen floor, and that's really where Psycho 3 starts. Yes. Psycho 3 starts just scant months after Psycho 2 ends, yeah.
Yeah. What is it? We're going to get back to that. I want to talk about making those kind of pictures, the ones you've done, because there's something very interesting about terror and what scares people. So we'll come back and we'll talk about that.
Sure, let's do.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Without getting into a deep philosophical discussion, it's interesting what scares people. There were a lot of movies for a while. There was a whole fad of Hollywood, the Friday the 13th, Friday night type of stuff. What is it that you have found that, I know what Hitchcock always thought, and it was the ordinary, rather commonplace played against not knowing.
Against the bizarre.
Yeah.
And of course, it's even harder to scare people when you deal with the occult and the supernatural. Those two pictures you named there had to do also with ordinary people, and there was no undead, no zombies, no people from outer space in those pictures.
Right.
In the case of Psycho, it could happen next door. That was Hitchcock's contention. This story could happen about your neighbors and about you and about your family. And of course, it's a very simple story. There are no extras, and there are no special effects, no big budget. So it's very modest, very pragmatic, very easy to follow.
I remember seeing Diabolique.
Yes.
And that scene at the end of the picture, you never saw anything really. It was just this undercurrent of something was going on. There was that scene in the bathtub at the end where where this guy came out of the bathtub wearing white contact lenses or something. People went crazy, and it was nothing was going on in the picture except that undercurrent of something was about to happen.
And incidentally, one of the most copied and ripped off plots in the last 25 years.
Yeah. Now, we got a little clip here of Psycho 3. Does this need any, as they say,
I don't think
warning or anything?
I think people may recognize the inside of Norman's office, and he's interviewing a young drifter that's come in looking for a part-time job.
All right. From Psycho 3. High rate of attrition at the motel, huh?
Yes, that's right.
You have an intensity about you when you do lines like that. Are you aware that you...
Well, you have to have an intensity about it.
But it's way under.
You won't get a laugh if you think you're being funny, or even if you tip it a tiny bit to inform the audience that this is supposed to be a laugh.
Right.
There are things in Psycho 3 that do get laughs, but it's all deadly straight. Without it being straight, it won't be funny.
Yeah.
Terribly important.
Yeah, lots of things that are unsaid. The quietness about it. You directed this, right?
That's what they tell me. Some days it really went by like a blur.
Right. Are you good with other actors? Kind to other actors?
Yes, I am. I've endured certain indignities at the hands of certain directors that won't be named tonight, and...
go ahead, name a couple of them. Get it out of your system.
No.
Some that are gone? Or?
Some that are gone.
Oh, well, then
those
that's not
particularly
fair.
we want to leave out of it. But
you mean intimidating? Made you feel insecure, badgered you, or what?
Yes, and you wouldn't think they would want to do that because it's not going to make a good picture. After all, the picture is what's most important.
Did they think by doing what they did that it was in some way going to enhance your performance or to get something out of you, or were they just...
thought they would get in better with the big stars in the movie. If they could trounce around a little bit on the bit player, which is what I was in this specific early
So you're
film.
aware of that now when you direct?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And actors will do anything for you if you treat them well.
What was it David Merrick once said about it? He said all actors are children, basically. Do you believe that?
Yes, I do.
Childlike in their
You
their
have to be
attitude?
childlike to be able to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning, throw on a pair of some clothes that are foreign to you, some makeup that doesn't stick right to your face, and go out and play a love scene with someone you've never met before. Only a child could really get that.
But that's good. Child's curiosity.
Yes.
Makes the performance.
Sure.
Yeah. That's interesting. We'll do this. We'll be right back. Stay where you are.
My first guest created one of the classic movie parts of all times, Norman Bates, the jumpy but lovable motel owner in Psycho. Norman is now at it again in a new film called Psycho 3. Please say hello to Anthony Perkins. Anthony. How you doing? Did you have a nice weekend?
Yes, I did.
Did you attend any of the festivities for the celebration?
Yes, I went out on a boat and watched some fireworks with some friends.
Very impressive, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. How you doing?
Excellent.
Yeah. How's Norman Bates these days?
He's holding his own.
Yeah.
He's still trying.
Still trying. This is. I'm sorry.
I think no, excuse me. I think that's the thing that keeps him somewhat attractive to people as a whole. You know, he doesn't give up. He has a serious personality flaw, and I mean it's true. It's true. But he tries to make the best of it. He tries to get together with people. He doesn't give up. He doesn't surrender to his own problems.
Yeah. To other people, perhaps it would be a handicap.
Yes, you could even say. Yeah.
But not to Norman.
No.
And how does he keep getting out of institutions to go back to run the motel?
Well, in Psycho 2, after spending 22 years of intense psychoanalysis and therapy, they let him out. I thought it was fair. It was time.
Yeah.
After Psycho 2, but before Psycho 3 starts, he's left with the problem of having the old dame that claimed she was his mother. Well, that was a mistake on her part, because she ended up with the shovel in the back of the head in that whole scene. And Psycho 3 starts just a scant months after Psycho 2 ends.
I see. So, now, do you find that these episodes hurt the business at the motel or not?
Well, the motel works on a very low overhead.
I see. Not a lot of convention business then.
No,
Yeah.
although in Psycho 3 there is a party. There are some people come from out of state to attend a football reunion.
Oh, that's good. And then he goes nuts again and hurts some people?
Well, no. I mean, that would be simplifying the plot. One thing you have to have with a Psycho film as opposed to some of the horror films, which seem to have no plot, the Psycho films are always really quite well plotted, I think, and that's one of the reasons for making them, not only to assemble the ingredients from the Psycho films, but to also have something more to say.
Was there, now you directed this film, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was there ever any thought to making it a different name besides Psycho 3?
Well, what would you call it?
I don't know, Psycho 3 sounds a little like dog food, doesn't it? When you think about just a little, if you misheard it, you might think.
I mean, someone said Psycho 86, Psycho 87. It just doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Was this the first film you directed?
Yeah.
All right, was that fun? It
was fun.
All right, we're going to talk about that in a second. We have to do here I'm sorry. We have to do a commercial. We'll be right back with Anthony Perkins, folks. So, how did you do directing the film?
Well, that would be for you to judge and for the people to see the film.
Were you pleased with the final result?
Well, I wanted to have some say in what happened to Norman, what happened to the people at the Bates Motel. It's a tender subject with me. Seriously, I didn't want to hand over the controls and the reins to someone who wouldn't care as much, or wouldn't have as much passion for it as I thought I would, and that I seemed to be able to have for the entire year and a half that it took me to make this thing. But, you know, it's hard to get directors to direct sequels, and it's even harder. You get an even smaller list when it comes to sequels of sequels. So you may be taking a chance for someone who is just accepting it as an assignment.
Now, how do you know how to direct a film if you've not done it before? Just from being in them? Do you know that way?
Well, you don't learn much from that. Actors don't learn a lot about directing films. Orson Welles said you dream. You dream the sequence. You will yourself to dream the sequence that you're shooting the next day.
Did that work for you?
Yes, it did work.
Yeah. Did you have any kind of a manual, a pamphlet, any kind of...
I tried reading some pamphlets.
Really?
They made no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
So I decided there was no sense in trying to learn from scratch what I would never know. Technically, I would go with my affinity for the material and, as I say, my love and affection for the Psycho stories, and for, you know, they're tragedies. They're modern-day tragedies, and so you really have to approach them with a certain amount of reverence.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obvious that they're tragedies. The guy's loopy and he stabs people.
Yes, it's true. It's true, but you could also say they're just Cuisinart films.
But there's more to them than that, is what you're saying.
I believe so.
Right. We're going to take a look at a clip here of Psycho 3.
This first
for the older dog. No, it's for the...
The first shot in this sequence, incidentally, which is shown here, is one of the shots that I dreamt.
Oh, okay, so this is one that occurred to you, and now we're going to see it on...
First act.
Yeah, occurred to you in a dream, and we're going to take a look at it here. A scene from Psycho 3 with Anthony Perkins.
I'm sorry to put you through this, Norman. All seems a little unnecessary now. That's okay. Now, there's still no reason to get so riled up and go running off like that. Well, we'll leave you alone now. Again, I'm sorry.
It's not good enough, Sheriff. You just can't let it lie.
I'm letting it lie, and so are you understand? Until I have evidence to the contrary, that young lady and Mr. Spool are both missing persons cases.
Aren't you going to take him in for questioning or anything? Why don't you drag the swamp? That's where he dumped the last bodies.
Don't tell me my job, Miss Venable.
Well, somebody has to. You're not going to let him go.
Despite all your glib insinuations, I don't have one iota of proof that he's done anything.
He hasn't. Norman was with me until 6 o'clock this morning. So whatever happened to that girl last night, Sheriff, Norman had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Now, did in fact, can you tell us if Norman did in fact do away with that guy?
Guy?
Well, whatever was in there.
Well, no, seriously, if tracking the two previous pictures, Norman would have no interest in killing Guy.
No, it's obviously a woman, yeah. Right. She referred to her as a female. But how did that happen?
Well, when a girl gets too friendly with Norman, Mother doesn't like it.
All right. She needs to be taught a lesson then, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But what was the method of her undoing?
Well, Mother is attracted to cutlery.
Oh, my. And do you think this movie is going to be a big hit?
It's got to be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, geez, I hope it is for you.
You know, Steve Sondheim sent me a telegram on the first day of shooting. He says, relax. You have nothing to risk except your entire career.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing to it.
And, yes, it encouraged me.
Nice to see you again, Tony.
Thank you.
Have a good summer. Good luck with the film. We'll be back, folks, right after station identification.